Isn't it strange that when you look at these pictures, you are able to guess who this person is? I mean, most of us would be able to guess who this is, and even if you are not 100% sure about it, you might still have some, percentage of idea about who this is. And if you have guessed it correctly, yes, this is Eminem. And the reason you were able to guess who this is was because of a unique feature, as you can see here in these pictures. And that unique feature is the hairstyle. Now if I go back here, you are able to see that this hairstyle is kind of like an iconic feature or a recognizable feature of Eminem. Most of his pictures are usually with this kind of hairstyle, and because of this you were able to recognize just by looking at the pictures of the hair, who that person is. So in this video I'm going to talk about the iconic features of objects or things or anything, and in the context of print on demand, especially for t-shirt designs. Now if you look at this picture, this is just a picture of Simpson characters, and the reason I have put this picture here just to explain you what iconic features mean. Now if you look at these characters, each and every character, the most iconic feature of these characters is thus obviously the yellow color. And the next thing is this upper lip, kind of like a long upper lip, a short lower lip, and similarly just round eyes with just no details in the eyes, just one black circle in it. So these are the iconic, I could say, the features of a Simpson character. Now people have created different illustration with these kind of features, and they have turned just normal photos into these kind of iconic features, and there are a lot of gigs on FIVERR as well. But anyway, now if we talk about the iconic features in terms of the print on demand, there are different niches in which we have which deal with these iconic characters, and that is sports, hobbies and passions. And these iconic features that I would like to discuss here is in relation to the man-made objects or man-made any kind of thing. Especially in the first picture that I showed you about the hairstyle, I would consider the hairstyle to be a man-made object or a feature, because every person can change their hairstyle and the look, the way the hair look. So I would consider that a man-made features. Now in terms of sports, we have obviously different sport items. If we talk about the football, we have football. If we talk about some other sports, some have bats, rackets. So each of these objects have a unique feature that distinguish them, and if you just look at that object, you will be able to see, guess that this object is just belongs to that sport. Now if you find a difference between, let's say, maybe badminton racket or let's say a tennis racket, you will be able to easily recognize that this particular object or element is not used in badminton and it is used in the tennis. Same is the case with hobbies. People have different hobbies related to different objects, and they have different passions related to different objects. Maybe some likes different cars, different kind of vehicles, and other different kind of objects. So when it comes to the print on demand, we have to be very careful about creating the designs which include any of these human made objects, because these human made objects are actually not, I would say, that copyright free. They have patents in most of the cases, and we need to be very careful about the patents. Now let's go to the next slide here. Now just look at this picture, and if these are the two different types of vehicles, the SUVs and the sedans. Now on the left here, these three vehicles are the sedans, and on the right these three are the SUVs. Now they have their broad category, for example the sedans, all of these are called sedans. But if you look at these pictures, each of this vehicle, each of this car is slightly different from the other one, and the difference is mostly in basically if you let's talk about the silhouette. The difference is in the silhouette, but most commonly the difference would be in the details. So the way these tail lights or the headlights appear, the way the windows appear here in the two different cars, that is the differentiating feature of these vehicles that makes them different from one another. And this is something that I would consider that these companies have patent for this specific shape of different I would say the features of these cars. They have a patent for maybe tail light, or maybe they have a patent for the the shape or the way the front headlights appear, or maybe the way these wheels appear, or maybe the way the windows of the cars appear. So they have different unique features, or maybe the way the doors of the cars are are designed. So each and every company have a unique pattern, and that is why you will not be able to see one car brand having the same feature as the other car brand, because they need to make their cars, or maybe if we are talking about these sedans, so although all of these cars are included in the same category, but they are very unique and different from one another. And this is something that you need to consider in mind. So if somebody is a fan of, let's say, SUVs, and you might want to create a t-shirt design for those people who are a fan of SUVs, you cannot use, you can say, the drawings or the let's say illustrations or anything that include these unique features. So you might be able to create a generic shape of the vehicle, but if you include and try to create the tail lights or headlights, or maybe the way the windows appear in the same way that that is resembling the actual vehicle, you will get in trouble, because you will be, in just simple words, you will be violating the copyrights. So you need to be very careful about that. Now here on the screen you are able to see different off-road vehicle brands, and it is kind of like very passionate, I would say, niche people who are really fond of these off-road vehicles. But one thing that I would like to mention here is that just look at this image. For example, all of these four vehicles are of different brand, and their front view is shown. So the way the front headlights are appearing, the way these other details are appearing in one vehicle is quite different from the other. Although all of these vehicles are meant to be for off-road adventures, for off-road travel, but you are able to easily recognize it. And the way they have designed these front of these vehicles is because they make, first of course they make them unique, and another thing is that they are easily recognizable, especially for the people who are into this kind of I think passion, or maybe something like that. So this is something that we need to avoid. So whenever you are creating a design for any kind of niche which includes a human made object, make sure that you do not include the same features, especially do not go into the details which make your design to resemble something original. Let me go and show you another result here. So that is just the RVs and something very famous, especially this kind of vehicle and this one. So these are the type of vehicle which just by looking at the vehicle you will be able to see, okay, this is an RV, and you might be able to guess the brand of the company which produces these type of vehicles. So when you're creating the design for these type of things, the first thing that you need to do is to just avoid creating the designs based on the actual vehicles or actual objects, especially the details, because sometimes you might be able to just get away with it, the actual shape of the body of the object, but if you put the details in it, that would make some problem for you. Yeah. So another thing is the paint job on these vehicles. So if you have created an object, and if maybe generalize it, try to generalize it, did not put much details it, but if your paint looks much like the original one, let me show you an example here. For example, this one. So if you have created just a vehicle like that, and if you have created given it different colors and try to make it like original, because you want to create those designs, people and you are trying to make sure that that people are able to you can say that connect with the design, they are able to express what they want to if you are, let's say, if you are creating a design for this type of RVs or maybe travel vans, and if you want to sell them, your goal would be to ensure that people should be able to connect with the design. If they are not able to connect, and if they are not able to recognize the object in the design, probably they would not they are not willing to buy it. So ideally you would like to create the design so that people are able to see and recognize the object in the design. But if you are going to create too much details, and maybe if you are going to give them the paint job that is similar to the original vehicle like that, that would cause a lot of problem, and same is the case with this one. So this is the I will just going to show you some results of the silhouettes. This is one way to create the design. Just create a silhouette of the object, do not put too much detail. For example, this is a simple camperman with just basic geometric shapes, not much details, although I would say that this top area here, that might cause some problem. So when it comes to creating the design, I would like to say here is that do not put too much detail, especially do not create straight lines. If the object has straight lines or maybe round lines, do not make it exactly like that. And this is another example here in which I would say that this is more like a bit more generic example of a vehicle, because they have straight lines, they have maybe shortened the body and put the details in, and they are without any much details. So you might be able to get away with these kind of designs. But if you are going to create the design which includes details like that, for example, although they do not have the same, I would say, color features of the original one, but still if you are you can easily recognize which kind of van or which kind of brand this is, which type of vehicle it is. So that would cause some problem. Another way you can create designs based on those niches which include human made objects is to go for a caricature style of illustration. For example, this one, by looking at this illustration, you are easily able to recognize it as a kind of like a travel van or road trips kind of van, but it does not have any, I would say, recognizable features of the actual van. Same is the case with this one. I would say that it is kind of recognizable, but not that much. So if you are creating the designs, and for this kind of either go for the silhouettes with less details, or either go for the caricature style of kind of like a extremely cartoonish style of details. For example, this is also a recognizable kind of like a feature, but still I would say it does not refer to any kind of actual vehicle. It does not have the any kind of things that or features that would make it quite similar to the actual vehicle. Same is the case with this one. You can see that they are not using the straight lines, which might cause them to make it resemble like the original vehicle. They are just random lines. Some of the lines are actually not straight, which is not, I would say, that possible that it would be in an actual vehicle. But just this kind of style or this kind of illustrations would help you to avoid any kind of copyrights. Now I'm not saying that it's 100% I would say that, what's the word, to be not worry about the copyrights. It is 100% safe. Sometimes you might get some trouble, but this is, I would say something that is less likely to cause any kind of problem for you. Just an example, if I show you, is this kind of vehicle, kind of like a cartoonish style, irregular shapes. Go for irregular type of shapes, bendy or curved shapes, and try to put the design or objects or details in kind of like an odd locations. Make sure that it does not look exactly like the original one, but it still has the features of something that is easily recognizable, and people are easily able to connect with this kind of your illustration or your design. So just to summarize it, if you are creating designs for objects or that includes the objects or any kind of thing that is human made object, mostly go for the silhouettes, kind of like a broad with less details. And if you want some kind of colored illustration or a slightly detailed illustration, I would say that go for a caricature style of illustration, put some details but avoid the straight lines, especially in terms of vehicles and those kind of things. If you avoid the straight lines and do not put the details exactly in the location where the original vehicle has in that particular location, or the shape of the lights, or the shape of different different objects or kind of elements of that vehicle, if you avoid that and try to make it more generalized, rounded, I wouldn't say rounded, but more of like less accurate type of details, that would I would say that kind of like maybe a better way to create these designs when you are targeting these kind of niches. So guys, hopefully this video has been helpful for you, and if you have any question or confusion regarding this video, you can ask me in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer those questions and help you in this regards. And if you subscribe to this channel, that would be helpful for you and for me as well. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.